it is written in the script itself. You know, there are Buddhist scripts. A person would not be impurified by eating meat.
Hey everyone, Johnny FD, and today I'm somewhere very, very special. This is the temple Meth Bo Sewana. Please say it because I can't say it. Meth Bo Sewana. And we have some previous foreigners who are now Sri Lankan monks. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right. I'm originally from Australia. Well, originally from Sri Lanka. I went to Australia when I was little, and I came back to Sri Lanka, searching for insightfulness, searching for the nature within, I suppose.
And how old are you when you came back?
When I came back to Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
I was 26.
26. And so from what I had heard, you had a typical Australian teenage life.
Yeah, sure.
You definitely sound very Aussie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you went clubbing.
Yeah. Not the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And what made you decide to give all that up?
There was no end to it. I didn't find any fulfillment, any happiness, I suppose. I also have 2 kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I thought there had to be more to life than this, so I came looking.
Are the kids living here with you?
No, they're in Australia with their mother.
Okay.
So for how long time you been here in Sri Lanka?
Sorry?
How long time have you been here in Sri Lanka?
How long?
Yeah, like for how many years?
2 years.
2 years. Mm-hmm.
And do they ever get to come visit you, or
Yeah,
do you
they
get
can.
to
They can, but these days obviously can't because of COVID.
Okay.
What's your wife? How she accepted? Was it difficult for her to accept your new lifestyle?
She encouraged it actually.
Oh.
She came to my ordination. There's actually a video in Sinhalese as well with her and me and another fellow having a discussion, a question and answer session. She's very helpful, very supportive.
Yes. So Kristina, is it okay if I become a monk?
I'm not sure about it.
You are welcome.
Okay.
Be in the nunnery.
Yeah.
Be with us in the monastery.
Okay, I can see the COVID. So fun.
And we are here with the chief monk, as well as the 3 other students. And I actually got told about this place through an Australian viewer who had nothing but good things to say about what they're doing here. So please introduce yourself.
Tittagalyana Siritero is the chief monk of this center. So this center was started somewhere around 2012, and it has been about 8 years now so far. So generally what do we practice here is Vipassana, which is mindfulness, if you know in Western countries that they are so keen on the concept of mindfulness. So we do practice mindfulness here according to the Buddhist philosophy, the Theravadic Buddhist practice. And how we do it here is that we incorporate mindfulness in all the day-to-day activities in our life. So we have a routine, daily routine, starting from 4 a.m. in the morning until we finish it in around 6:30 with the chantings at the evening. Throughout that time, and even whilst we are asleep, we practice mindfulness.
Oh, fantastic. And so I've been to a Vipassana before in Thailand, where it was a 10-day silent meditation. Are all Vipassanas silent, or are you allowed to speak, or you just have to be mindful?
තායිලන්තයට ගියා කියලා විපස්සනා වැඩසටහනක් කරන්න ඒකේ තිබුණේ නිශ්ශබ්දතාවය. හැම විපස්සනාවක්ම නිශ්ශබ්දවද කෙරෙන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම් වෙනස් දෙයක් තියෙනවා. No, it is different.
So what does it mean, mindfulness? Like for very usual people who don't understand, like in their simple words.
සතිය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? සරලව කියන්න.
දැනුවත් භාවය.
Mindfulness means awareness.
Okay. Very clear, thank you. Бухамастыти.
So, good news is we don't have to be silent for the next 10 minutes or 10 days. We can talk during this tour. Let's take a look around.
Okay, great. Thank you.
right?
This tree.
Not this particular.
Oh, but it is a Bodhi tree.
This,
So you have both female and male monks
yes,
here?
the nunnery is somewhere there. We have to
Okay.
walk down.
Okay. And the male monks live
In
over
this
there.
area.
Okay.
The monks and the other lay people who are willing to be monks in future.
Mm.
So what's the story of this place? Like it's monks told us that it's around 7 years. Yes.
Yeah, it's around 7-8 years. Yes.
And like, what's the story? What was before here and why it's appeared?
Well, it was. This is situated in a estate which was cultivated, and it was inactive during the time of British, some around 150 years ago. Then after that, this place was abandoned, and for many years it was not cultivated. And so thereafter, there had been a small temple before with one monk, but it has not. It was not lasted for even for few years. Thereafter, our chief monk, he came to this place. Actually, this is his hometown. You can see his mother's house somewhere closer within the center. And he wanted to build a center here, but he did not anticipate to have a massive center like this, which has come up like this. He wanted to have a little place for himself. But with his teachings about mindfulness, lot of people attracted to him from all around the world. So thereafter, this place was built because others were also keen in practicing it under his guidance. So that is why all these buildings are here, the constructions work are going on, because even now we can accommodate about 200 people.
Wow. At a time here?
Yeah, 200.
It's
Sometimes
both
when
men and
we do retreats, 3-day, 5-day, 10-day retreats. When there's a retreat, the whole place gets fully occupied. And now we have about 50 people permanently residing in this, practicing mindfulness fully. And they have given up their lay life, their jobs and other professions. They have given up all those things, and they are here with us, including monks, nuns, and lay people, male, female, both.
They are all Sri Lankans.
Sri Lankans, and sometimes we get foreigners as well, but they stay here for about a month or week, and they practice mindfulness, and they engage in discussions with us, and they spread the message across thereafter. That's how you guys also came.
Yeah, exactly. So I just asked, how much is the cost of coming and living here for a 10-day Vipassana, one of these retreats? Because a lot of retreats that you hear about in Bali or these places, they're really expensive. They're like $5,000 sometimes. And you think, and those are for people who are really desperate. They need something in their life, and they're like, something is missing, I'm unhappy. So I have to spend $5,000 and my whole life savings to go to retreat.
Okay.
But here, it's
totally free.
It's completely free.
It's completely free because that is the Sri Lankan culture. Because the Sri Lankan culture has been evolved on the principle of if someone dedicate his life and make some sacrifices in order to investigate spirituality, and if they get into the spiritual practice, basically the Buddhist mindfulness, everything will be provided. That is for them to help them in order to achieve their spiritual targets in life. So that is thanks to the Sri Lankan culture, we are offering that facility to everyone who comes to this center.
That is very generous of Sri Lankan people. Is it through donations, or how is it paid for?
In many ways. Now, for food, we go on alms rounds. If you have seen that, monks going with a bowl all across the village, and they offer food and the clothing and everything, sometimes in way of donations. That is how they provide things.
Thank you guys. It's good. So this is the layperson's accommodations, but fan only, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And the new one they're building is going to be with air conditioning for all the lay people who want to meditate.
All these 2 buildings will be completed within a year. With the Sri Lankan weather, they can't bear the heat and all.
Oh.
So we want to make this furnished with air-conditioned facilities and everything.
So that's going to be fancy.
Foreigners.
And if somebody wants to come and actually volunteer and help build it,
yes,
they can come stay here too.
That is how we do. Anyway, now we have a routine that we wake up around 4 o'clock in the morning. Then at 5 o'clock we have a chanting session. And after 5:30, everyone engage in activities, cleaning the premises and cooking, everything. All the things been divided with the people who are staying here. Now in the kitchen, they are actually the people who practice mindfulness here. And we have paid workers as well, one paid worker, and all the other, the supportive staff is from the volunteers.
Volunteer for a couple days?
We can try together. So here, you're open to to eat meat or fish. Is it goes along with Buddhism philosophy?
Yes, the philosophy of Buddhism. It is written in the script itself. You know, there are Buddhist scripts. There are particular sutras. Those are the discourses of Gautam Buddha, where people have specifically asked him about eating meat. So his advice and his principle was that he is not worried about the things that we consume, whether it is meat or not. And he says in that particular sutra, that means in the particular discourse, that a person would not be impurified by eating meat. His impurification depends on the ill wills that he has in his mind. That means lust, desire, anger, jealousy, all those things. Those are the qualities which makes a person impurified, not by meat or fish. That is the Buddhist philosophy.
Important,
Yes.
So
So now there are people who are vegetarians. Some are vegans, but they are so crooked, and they are full of hatred. So according to the Buddhist philosophy, we don't identify him as a good Buddhist. Even a person is not a vegetarian, but if he is good from his heart, from the bottom of his heart, he's a good Buddhist. That is the Buddhist principle.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes vegan people feel so proud that they eat it, and and then sometimes you feel really not good.
No, because we have noticed people consider for thinking that they are vegan, and they consider other people as a little bit lower than.
Yes, less awareness.
Yes. That is actually bad.
Yeah, interesting topic.
But it won't make you purified. That it won't make you spiritually advanced unless you if you take off from you all your bad thoughts, if you try to reduce the bad qualities in you.
So to all the people mad at me for eating chicken, you heard it here first. As long as I do it with a good heart, then I can be clean and spiritual.
The most important in person.
And for the people who are getting mad in the comments, yelling at me,
It's a joke. It's hard for us here.
So this is the nunnery. So that was a
About the sun,
female monk.
unlike
Where they live. So this is the nunnery. You're the female monks.
We have 6 nuns here,
Hello.
and there's another one there.
Okay.
Expect to be a nun.
Oh, great. Oh, that's why she's wearing white. Okay. And then so soon you get the upgrade to the colors. Oh, nice. How long have you been nuns here?
Me, actually 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Also 2 years. And yes, 2 years.
Also 2 years. Hello, how are you? Ayuban. How long have you been here?
2 years.
2 years? Okay. And you're the new one? How long?
6 months.
6 months. And when will you become a monk? We can ask that?
chief monk will decide it.
Okay.
When
It's like,
she's ready.
oh, really?
Yeah, because we give time to
Okay.
people to recognize whether they are ready to
Okay.
accept the robe. Because it is not an easy task, because you are parting yourself from the lay life. So it's a decision that you have to make with a lot of consciousness.
Okay.
So we give them enough time to decide whether you're ready to it or not.
And what is the normal range?
It depends. Actually, that's their choice.
Okay.
Basically, maybe sometimes it might go up to 1 year.
Wow, okay. I guess it's a little bit like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with the belts. Most people take a few years to get their next belts. It took me 9 years. I'm still a white belt. So if I was going to be a monk, maybe I'd still be wearing my white clothing even now. Thank you so much. We're going to take a look at your fields, your farm.
Because it is an opportunity for them to identify their weaknesses in the mind. If you consider something as a disturbance, that means you have an expectation that you should not be disturbed. Now, who's responsible for that? You.
Again, can you just repeat your face? If you feel disturbed, it means
That means now if you feel disturbed, right? Then you get a trigger inside your mind. Yes, I am being disturbed. So what is the reason for my mind get triggered because of the disturbance? It is not because of the one who disturbed me. It is because I had an expectation that I should not be disturbed. If I did not have that expectation, none of these conditions will disturb me. So in this way of mindfulness that we practice here, disturbances are the best way to identify the mind. So we always expect disturbances. We don't want peace. We don't want tranquility. We like to be, if we are disturbed all the time, we are happy.
Or even, I guess we can't always control outside forces, but we can control how we react to it.
We cannot control the outside forces. And those outside forces always beyond our control. But we have the capacity to have the fully control about our mind. How do we do that? We have to identify the expectations that we generate from the mind. Now let's say you have 100 expectations. That means if one of those expectations are shattered, you will be upset.
Yes.
So there are 100 ways that you can be upset because you had 100 expectations. So let's reduce it up to 50. There's only 50 chances of you getting upset.
Okay.
If you do not have any expectations as such, none of those outside obstacles can upset you.
Christina's loving her time here.
Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And I'm getting really so big aesthetic pleasure because like so beautiful nature and really so beautiful clothing, so beautiful smiles, smiling eyes. Really so nice.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Cinnamon leaf. Chew it and see.
Oh, nice.
Let's have a bite.
So I bite this part?
This part.
That's
So
nice.
you get cinnamon out of the bark.
Okay. So this is the true Ceylon cinnamon.
Yes. And you get best cinnamon in this area.
Yeah. Is it just because of the climate, or?
Yes, because of the climate and the water level of the groundwater level. So where the flavor is so strong, particularly in this Gaul area.
It's still being built, or?
This is the main pagoda. Now it is different from other pagodas that you will find from Sri Lanka because we are building a building inside. It will be a 6-story building within the pagoda.
Wow.
The ground floor for discussions and meditation, where you can accommodate about 3,000 people at once.
Wow.
And on the top level, there will be a library and a center to study the Buddhist scripts in 10 different languages. That is how we have the plan in building this.
And the stupa? What is inside?
Now this is a supportive stupa. There will be 4 of this around it, around the main stupa. Now in this, generally in Sri Lanka, you put valuable things. Mainly it is to have relics of spiritual leaders. Either it might be a Gautam Buddha or Buddha's spiritual relic or one of his disciples. Right? And
So-
it is to play gratitude. Right? This is like a pyramid.
Yeah. So how old is this stupa?
This is maybe around 5 years.
Okay. Because it looks like this is very old. It looks, and then this looks like it's just being built.
That is because we have not color washed it recently.
Keep it like that.
So I wanted to ask one question. Like, as for you, do you feel happy now?
Obviously, more than happy.
And what happiness means to you?
Happiness means something which cannot be touched by any outside thing. Right? If my happiness depends on the happiness of yours, or the well-being of something else, or because of some object in the physical world, I cannot call myself as a person with true happiness. Because if something goes wrong to you or to that outside object, I will be devastated. So since I do not believe in having attachments with these outside things, then the happiness which I gain out of it, that is, I said, it's I'm more than happy. It is not this primary happiness that people deal with, of achieving something. This happiness comes from not achieving anything at all.
So from what? From
It comes
inner-
out from nothing.
from nothing. It's so difficult to comprehend.
Just being happy.
I think that is the true happiness one can have. That is the best happiness one can have. Because now whatever happens around me, if it can affect me, that means I'm touched.
So how to get this happiness from nothing?
This is a public book.
So how to get happiness from nothing?
That you have to identify your expectations. Now, generally your mind creates expectations and you get attached to that expectations. Once you be mindful about that, automatically that attachment will get diluted. Then you get a happiness without any expectation, without any attachment to any expectation. That is how you gain happiness from nothing.
Wow. It's still like not easy to like I understand, but not easy to comprehend.
Yeah, that's why you have to have some time here. Because this is not a discussion where you can have it one day.
Yes.
This is a long time discussion. You have to be with your mind, you have to study your mind, and you have to be in the discussion and be enlightened more about the mechanism of the mind. Now, our mind is always creating an illusion. Now you think that you see me and you think you are hearing me. No, it is not. You hear whatever you want to hear from what I say.
It's true.
Right?
Yes.
That is the illusion that all of us are trapped in. So only way to overcome and get out from that illusion is to understand the mechanism of the mind. That is what Buddha taught. How to get out from this illusion and how to be happy within you without having any expectation in your life. So that is a process where you have to be in the discussion and know more about the chemistry of the mind. And then after learning that chemistry, after hearing, listening to that chemistry from somebody else, then you have to see it from yourself. You have to experience from within. Then only you will have the proper understanding.
Thank you. Another one question, the last one about love. Like, what is love for you?
Love, my love is towards everything. Now let's say if I love one person, that means I'm isolating. Now there are about 6 billion humans. If I select one person out of it, I'm isolating everyone else. I don't need that kind of love. The love should be universal. That how can you have a universal love? Now generally we attach to somebody, we call it love, but we attach to somebody as long as he or she fulfills my needs. Now if you're kind to me, I will be a lovable person to you. Now if you feed me, if you treat me well, I will love you. That is actually not love. That is just a business. Because as long as you provide, now as long as you provide things to me, I will love you. That is actually business. But if you can have love, if you can love someone without having any expectation in return from him, that is the true love. That is what love to me.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Okay. So it sounds like you need a few more weeks here. I'll come back. I'll pick you up. Yeah. I'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm back. Thank you. Nobody stole it. That's good. Nobody stole it.
Before it does get stolen.
Thank you so much.
Hammerhead shark, yeah, behind.
Okay, so these tattoos I got in Thailand as part of my Muay Thai kind of life for protection, and I got them from a monastery. And I'm curious that in kind of the Sri Lankan Buddhism culture, if it means anything. Or whether it means the same thing or not.
This is a script, no?
Yes.
It is written in Thai language.
Or some kind of. Actually, I don't think it's Thai language. I think it's some ancient Sanskrit.
Sanskrit or something?
Sanskrit, yeah.
Maybe Sanskrit.
Is
Yes.
the symbols itself like the pyramid or anything?
Now the one in the middle, it looks like Dharma Chakra. It has 8 things which shows the 8-fold path, which has been elaborated in Buddhism.
Okay.
On the top, I think it looks like Mount Meru. Is it?
I don't know. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know anything about my tattoos. I got them as part of protection for Muay Thai. And actually the temple I went to is called the Tattoo Temple. You don't even choose what you get. They give you what they think you need.
Oh.
So also,
How do they identify what you need?
they
talk
just
to
sit
you?
with you. Yeah, they talk to you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It turns out I needed more compassion. I was like, no, you're wrong. Also,
Yeah, you're right, because now
Yeah.
people think Buddhism is you always have to rectify your errors.
Yes.
It is not mainly about rectifying errors. It is about identifying errors. Now, if you say you're not compassionate enough, if you identify it within you, that is enough, right? The rectification will happen automatically. You should not try to do it artificial, right? Let's say there's a person, he's full of anger. First thing he has to identify about him is that, okay, he has to accept the fact that I have anger inside. That's all. Once you recognize that you have this disease, the cure is always around you in the nature. Now let's say there are a lot of medicine for cancer, let's assume. But if you do not know that you suffer from cancer, would you ever go and consult a doctor?
yeah, it makes sense.
So what is the most important thing? Identify that this error is within you.
Why surfer decided
Chanting
The
books.
chanting books, yes.
Pali language.
Every day, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the evening, we have a chanting session. If you can stay here for till 6:30, you will experience it. You can participate in chanting.
In the morning.
Now
Oh,
in the
no.
evening,
at 6 o'clock?
I have seen you both doing some video near Jaffna somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I've been in Jaffna. Yes.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Sivali.
Sivali.
Yes.
So you're the ex-surfer monk.
Used to.
You used to surf. Okay. And do you miss it at all?
Not really.
Okay.
When I just came here, at that time I was thinking about it, and then after a while, so I'm here, so I'm fine here.
Okay. But I guess my question is, why is things like surfing not allowed?
It's the culture, right? So I'm a monk, and it's not about what Buddha has said, just to be mindful and outcome from the mental suffering. So even though I surf, it doesn't matter, but there's a tradition, so there's some rules and regulations that are how I should be, so in Zen Buddhism, I think in Zen they do practice, they practice a lot of things, even here we are not that traditional, so we do some works we plant things and so but surfing is not allowed.
So, how long have you been here in
I
monastery?
would like Sunanda there also to
Actually,
join
as I
with
said,
me.
we can surf, but you will not be treated as a monk.
You look so cool with the robe.
Well, there's another philosophical argument I can put like this. Now, let's say he was a surfer before. Now, because of a monk, he cannot surf. But is that the only reason one can be obstructed by surfing? Now, let's say you undergo an accident. You break your leg. Thereafter, you cannot surf. So there are many other things that can happen to one's life to not to continue their routine, right? So then the best thing is not worrying about what you do right now. You have to worry about if something goes against my wish and if I cannot continue my profession as like this, can I be peaceful from my mind as like I'm happy right now while doing surfing, right? Now, if you can achieve that point of mind, right, that nature in from your mind, even you are in a prison, obstructed from the rest of the world, you will be happy in the prison. Because you never know. I told you, this world is so uncertain. Now we are laughing, we are smiling, we are talking like this. But who knows? Next day, all four of us might end up in a prison. Then we cannot have these YouTube videos, we cannot do vlogs, we cannot do the discourses, I cannot be in this center. But even in the prison, if I can make it a heaven, if I can be happy with it, I think that is the best thing one should achieve in one's life.
So I have a question about that. So I know in the US at least, even if you go into prison and you say, you know what, I just want to serve my time, I will do good, and then I will get out.
Not in Sri Lanka. You can't do like that in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. But even in the US you can't do that because there's, you know, prison gangs and, you know, you're almost forced to participate and, you know, fight. And it makes your life worse. So if you go and you say, you know what, I'm just going to go for 10 years, be a good person, meditate, you know, read books, it's not possible. How would you deal with that? Like, let's, you know, knock on wood, but let's say you were in prison tomorrow, what would you do?
I will say the general thing. I think the prisoners, the inmates in Sri Lanka, in the Sri Lankan conditions, they are suffering a lot mentally. So we are always trying now. We have forwarded a proposal to the ministry. Let us do some mindfulness sessions to the inmates there, but still it is on the table. They have not go along with it yet.
Why wouldn't they let that? That'd be great.
Yeah, but maybe they are thinking about the resources. How can they allocate those resources to an activity like this? There may be, maybe we don't know. I cannot comment on that why they are not doing it. But we have tabled a proposal. Let us do some mindfulness sessions for the inmates, because we know obviously they are suffering because they don't know any method, any technique to overcome the stress and the depression that which will come to them in their prison life.
Sri Lanka, let the monks help the prisoners calm down and learn these techniques, please.
Yeah, meditation will be
I will champion this
useful.
cause. This and unlimited Wi-Fi in Sri Lanka. There's a bunch of causes.
Wi-Fi and mindfulness.
Mindfulness. I'll be happy. And the buses to drive a bit slower and not so crazy.
Okay, the third one.
Those three things, I'll be happy.
Okay, so bus drivers also should be taught to meditate.
Yeah.
And tuk-tuk drivers.
I think every bus driver should be forced to learn mindfulness and to drive slower.
We will put down another proposal to the Ministry of Transport.
Yes,
To
Ministry
do
of
that.
Transport. Monthly meditations. When that's for bus drivers.
We get that comment from many tourists who come to this center.
Yeah.
Started in 1995. So when I remember that, so in that year also, there were some people who was complaining about this, and I quit the place in 2016. So at that time I was 27 years old. So people were complaining the
About-
same.
Bus drivers.
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
Yeah, so I guess like sometimes you need really like to provide your angriness sometimes, like in balanced quantity, just to change something.
So
maybe.
here's a question. So I have a friend, she was walking, minding her own business, and a bus drives and hits her in the arm and it breaks. Like, you know, does she not have the right?
The law enforcing authorities should take care of that part.
I'm sure Surfer has a name. Surfer monk.
Yeah, he told.
So I got the same tattoo.
Really.
Oh, nice.
There's a handmade charm.
Yeah.
Don't ask him to show it.
No. Okay.
So, like, when you're a surfer, you also had business
Yes, I would, yeah.
in
Mirisa
Buddhism
Beach.
hotel, yes?
Yep.
So
So when it was, like how many years ago?
I think
How many years ago?
how many years ago? I came here in 2016, which means about 4.5 years ago. Yeah.
So what forced you, like what encouraged you to change your lifestyle absolutely like to the opposite?
Since I was child, like I felt that I was missing something. That I, when I was a child, I thought when I get a job, I will be happy, and then I get So when I was studying, I thought the job is my liberation, and when I was doing the job, I was still missing something, and then trying to maintain the relationships and all. So finally, I was succeeded when I was 27. I had the money and everything. So the physically it was fine, but I felt that the mental suffering was not. It was with me. So and then I was listening to. I heard some YouTube video from one of the monks. So I find it that I felt it, not what I think. So while I was listening it, I felt it that this what I needed right now is not these things around me, And even when I was surfing, as this Bante said, so I had some, once I dislocated my knee while I was surfing, and after 1 year I couldn't surf, and so those injuries and everything. So I felt that everything, even as he said, so everything when I start, so it can go to a certain situation that I couldn't do it anymore. And then I was thinking about this, my mind is always running, and I didn't know about what is going on within me. So I finally found out that there's something wrong within me. There's nothing wrong in the outside of the world. So as he said, he was complaining about the bus drivers and all. So I had this same situation within me. Everything I see something wrong. And then I was always running like a circles. Always I want to change something, which I couldn't change. So then I changed my mind.
Smart. Really nice. So now you feel that you don't miss something. Now you feel
now I'm really happy. I mean, of course there are problems, but the expectation, as this one said. So when I get into a upset mood, so I come to myself, and the Vipassana, the insight. So I find out why I get upset. So then I find out that I was expecting the things that this should happen the way I think. So then I think that okay, I shouldn't expect this. So and then the next time happens, so I realized that okay, this is my problem. So I had expectation, so the thing happened outside the world, it didn't match to my expectation. That's why I got upset.
So the sun is setting, and I wanted to try to get a drone shot, but turns out we're near an airport, so we're trying to get a code to unlock it. But what I had learned today was not to have any expectations. So I'm not upset that we weren't able to get a beautiful shot of this place, because it is really, really beautiful. And it's okay also to admire beauty, as I learned, because that has us in the present moment. Kristina's happy about that.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. But it's been a wonderful day, and I really appreciate all the monks here and for the chief monk for allowing us to come and film and talk to everyone. And I was surprised. I got a lot of, I didn't have any questions before I came. I was like, oh, my life's pretty good. I'm not too stressed. But even then, I came out even, I think being a bit more free. So thank you so much. Stuti. Kristina,
You identified that you're sick.
any last words, Kristina?
Yeah, I guess I just agree with came here and didn't have too much questions, but we came and now have more questions. And actually a very interesting experience, like to see how monks live. And for me, like for people, from person from Ukraine, having another culture, so I'm wondering that everything is really so beautiful. Monks are in bright colors because like in Ukraine it's absolutely opposite. It's about sadness, it's about black color. So it's interesting for me for this cultural exchange.
Nice. Stuti guys. Thank you.
I think he will help you out with
Oh yeah? Okay. Thank you.
So, as you may have seen, we were able to find the drone, and it's pitch black now, and I almost lost it. It's my first day flying ever, and this place is so beautiful that I just had to do it. And we got authorization, which is awesome. But I pressed the return home button, and it just went straight up in the sky. So it was at like 20 meters, which is like 60 feet, and it shot to the maximum altitude and gave me this warning saying, we're too high. We're 150 meters up or something. And I was like, what?
Why?
And I was like, how? And so the auto home button stopped working. And luckily, I was like, okay, calm down. Let me bring it down to 50 meters. And then I was able to see it as the sun was going down. I was stressed a little bit, but actually, to be honest, maybe it's because we were at this great Buddhist center. I'm not that stressed. I was okay.
So my congratulations. Oh, wonderful.
Animals everywhere.
Oh, you can see peacock sitting on the holy tree and encourages other peacocks to sing some their peacock songs. So my congratulations, Johnny. It's first day and you didn't broke the drone.
Thank you very much. That's all I could ask for, actually, to be honest.
I guess it's the most important thing. Where can I also go to?
Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanam buddho bhagavati vacha cittena pamadena maya katam acchayam pamame sangha subadipanna anuttara